Good morning, guys. Happy Monday again. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Thanks for vlogging with me and thanks for being here with me this morning. I have part 2 of Can't Adult Today, finding the root cause. So last week we talked about trying to please our parents and how sometimes in today's society, when we're just trying to be adults and be responsible and do everything that we have to do as adults, we kind of revert back to being a child, and we have childish attitudes, we gossip, blah blah blah. You can catch last week's video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to discuss the second and third reason why sometimes we can't adult. I mean, we use that phrase as a joke, like, oh, can't adult today. But what I'm trying to say is, are we really being adults? Are we being responsible? And are we living in the present moment and looking towards our future? The second reason I think that we can't really adult and do the right thing is because we want our needs met immediately. I mean, it happens from inception. You're born and your pamper's wet, you get changed. You cry for food, you get fed. You cry in the crib, you get picked up. We're taught initially that anytime we react, something's going to come to us really quick. And that's a really bad attitude. That makes children become teenagers that become demanding. Then they want an expensive car, they want expensive clothes, they want credit cards, they're going to want alcohol, they're going to even demand sex because they don't know the difference between appropriate timing and not. So that's something to look for, especially if you have kids. We can also turn it that way and say, wow, let's look for these signs to see if we as parents have enabled them. The third thing is a childish attitude. When we want to get a temper tantrum, when we want to throw fits. I mean, kids always want what somebody else has, right? Well, that doesn't change much in today's society. We see something in Facebook and we can't even be happy for somebody's blessing. We have to hate on them. We can't even press that like button because inside we're like, ew, why do they have that and not me? It's true. Everybody scrolls up and down, sees your news feed, sees everything. Instead of offering an encouraging word, they have a comment or they have a judgment about it. Honestly, if you have a blessing, I am so happy for you. Keep it going. You must have did something really good to deserve it, and more power to you. Have more blessings. Have more great stuff coming to you. Because it's not the material things, it's the inner peace and it's the happiness that counts to me. We're all products of our environment, honestly. So if they're triggers, there are things that you can see people at work, they'll be reactionary. They'll say something out of the blue, something inappropriate. So I myself have triggers. We all have triggers. We have to try to trace it to the root cause so we can be better adults today. So we can adult. So we can act responsible. And so we can be role models for our children. When we revert back to when we were a child, the inner little girl and the inner little boy come out. That's not right. Not when you're 30, not when you're 40. You have to look at yourself and take inventory and say, am I doing those things? Is that what I'm about? The important thing to take away here is let's trace it to where it started so we can fix it and heal it. You don't just want to put a band-aid over it and make believe it didn't exist. If there's things in your life that you remember growing up as a child, you were enabled a bunch of stuff or you were spoiled, and as a result you can't even hold a job. I mean, you rebel against authority. When a supervisor talks to you, you're like, ugh. Like, those certain things show that you don't even respect authority. And the reason being is that when you were younger, maybe you didn't have to. So those are things to look at. Clearly, there's a grid system. And when that grid system has been tainted with things that shouldn't have been there, they're innate in us and they're inside of us. So I pray and I ask you guys to dig deep. Look inside your hearts, look at your grid system and say, I can adult today because I remember what happened. I'm going to trace the root cause. I'm not going to think that way anymore. I'm going to think in the present and in the future, because if you think in your past, then honestly, you're living in the past. So I encourage you guys to do that. As always, subscribe to my channel. I put out videos every Monday and when so inspired. And follow me on all social media at Miss Michelle K. And that's spelled MRSMISHELLE with a K. I love you guys. God bless you. And make it a great week, okay? Mwah.